Hello, my name is Anne Cavoukian, and I'm the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, Canada. And I'm here to talk to you about control and how absolutely vital personal control is to privacy, your privacy. People sometimes refer to personal data as the new oil, personally identifiable data. The thought that it's the new oil of the internet, because that's what's fueling so much of the activity. And until now, the control over this data largely resided within organizations, both public and private sector. And it was often removed from an individual's sphere of personal control. There was very little you could do about it. And we have to change that paradigm. I always say privacy equals control, freedom of choice. That has to reside with you because it's your data. Somebody else may have control over the data because they've collected it from you and they're making some use of it, but it's not their data. They have custody and control over the data while it resides in their databases, but this is your information. So organizations are just coming around to dealing with these issues, and now that the world of big data is all upon us. And I always say what you need to do for big data, you need to respond with big privacy, because you have to address the privacy issues. And big data and data analytics, I'm all for that because it will lead to amazing new results that we have no awareness of today. But you don't do that with personally identifiable data. There are so many ways you can remove the personal identifiers or encrypt the personal data or aggregate it. There are many things you can do. So you can still have, I always say, open data, big data, yes. Personal data, no. You don't mess with personally identifiable data. It's not yours to do with as you wish. You have to consult with the individual. And I'm so pleased that I think things are finally beginning to change. Traditional user interaction is becoming largely obsolete. Individuals can no longer just be treated as data subjects alone and given no control over their data. That landscape is beginning to change. And it's changing largely in one area with something called the personal data ecosystem, or PDE. The PDE has boundless potential to place control of one's own personal information directly in the hands of the individual. And that's where control should reside. And this is truly a game changer because it will shift the way organizations deal with your personal data. We recently released a paper, a white paper called the Privacy by Design and the Emerging Personal Data Ecosystem. And this discusses many of the benefits and opportunities that PDEs present. And we've done a lot of really good work with a number of organizations, and I applaud these companies. Some of them are personal, the Respect Network, Control Shift. All of these are examples of the personal data ecosystem, which basically allows you, the individual, to have complete control over your data that resides with one of these companies, but they will only act upon the data according to your wishes. So you truly are in control. And these companies not only empower the individual by doing this, but they get a huge privacy payoff. That's what I call it. A book I wrote a number of years ago was called The Privacy Payoff, how greatly companies that respect people's privacy, consumers' privacy, and obtain their trust get a direct payoff in terms of a privacy payoff by doing so. They gain the customer's trust, which in turn builds to a competitive advantage over the other guys. And this is a competitive advantage that is sustainable over time. It will allow you to retain the customers you have and to attract new customers. It's a wonderful growing field. And a lot of this involves adopting something called Privacy by Design, which is a framework that I built many years ago. And it's all about being proactive about privacy, embedding it into your systems and operations, and having great respect for the user. And an understanding that it's their data, it's not your data. You may have custody of the data, but with that comes a great duty of care. One of the essentials of Privacy by Design is not to approach things as zero-sum, which is essentially either or, one interest versus another interest, privacy versus business interests, for example. Get rid of that dated model and substitute positive sum, which means you can have two positive values growing in tandem. You can have greater privacy and greater business interests by collaborating amongst the business interest and the consumer interest. This model supports innovation and it creates stronger competition for businesses while moving towards much stronger data protection. The end result is a race to greater privacy and advanced business interests. It's all about moving forward with both of these models, respecting the customer's privacy and accepting the basic tenet that control over the personal data must reside with the data subject, the customer, to whom the data relate. So let's make this happen. Let's make sure that customers are in charge of their own data. They're the only ones who can make the decisions relating to the data. And when businesses respect that and have a fundamental understanding of that relationship, they too will win and get a direct privacy payoff. Win-win. That's the way to go. Thank you very much.